Hello, Hortonville High School juniors and parents of juniors. We are excited that you are in the home stretch of your career with Hortonville High School, and we hope we have some helpful information here for you. We did break down this presentation by pathway based on students who are interested in going military, technical college, world of work, and four-year university. So some information out there for everybody, and then just some general information about closing up your year as a junior and what you should be planning then for your time as a senior. As you notice in the upcoming slides, we have contact information for the rest of the counseling staff and how you can connect with us. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Let us know how we can help support you. And again, you can either email us, you can send us messages in Canvas, you can give us a phone call. If you're an in-person student, feel free to stop in and make an appointment with us, and we are happy to help. If you're wondering who the counseling staff are at the high school, again, my name is Laura Keither. I'm high school counselor for students last name A through G and T. Stacy Chevermont has students last name H through O. Allie Winch has students last name P through Z, except for T. New to us this year is Erin Fisher, who is our part-time counselor and our school to career coordinator. Other staff that we have working with us are Elena Bennett, our full-time school psychologist. Jennifer Van Asten is our admin assistant, and Julie Patry is our registrar. You know, with it being such a strange year, there are some things that we don't know about next year, but some things that we do know that we're going to share with you. We do know that we're going to be sticking with block scheduling again next year. Those will be about 85-minute class periods again, and we'll be running A and B days. We do know as well that we'll be sticking with the staggered start from the elementary and middle school, meaning that the elementary and middle schools, to the best of our knowledge, are going to be sticking with an 8 o'clock start time, and we will be starting after that. That time is not yet determined or approved by the school board, but as soon as we know that, we'll make sure that we send that information out so you can plan for next year. And then also, we still have some planning to do around this, but we know that we're going to be offering senior conferences in the fall. So we will be sending information out to students and parents of seniors next year. So that's you guys, which is exciting. And again, we'll send that information out for senior conferences for you next year. If you as parents are wondering what things have been done to help support your current junior as far as planning for their future, we've been working pretty hard here with students, and some things that we've done this year are that we've done group junior conferences in the fall. We had presentations for students based on their pathway after high school. So we pulled those students together and did in-person group presentations for students, and then we made sure that we sent that presentation out to all students so that our virtual students and our in-person students could get that information again. There was also a red folder that went home with in-person students and was made available to virtual students to pick up with resources as far as colleges, youth apprenticeship information, graduation requirements, and credit check in there. So something that was applicable to all students depending on their pathway. And again, that was that red folder that we were talking about. So we did offer those group junior conferences. We also did hold one-on-one conferences with students, parents, and counselor upon request. If that's something that you would still like to hold, please reach out to your counselor and we can work on setting that up. We offered course registration presentations during ELT and also made sure we sent that information home to students via Canvas. And then historically, we have always held college and career planning lessons through our academic and career planning, or ACP lessons, building wide, and using Zello for that as well. This slide is an overview of specific courses that students will need to complete by the end of their senior year to meet graduation requirements. These courses are a minimum requirement, and we encourage that students take more specifically in subject areas that they plan on pursuing as a possible career or that relates to possible career interests. We would have completed a credit check for students, and that would have been in their red folder for their conferences at the beginning of the school year. So let students know after completing courses this year how many credits or which specific courses they still need to get in next year. If you would like a copy of that, or you lost the one that we sent home, feel free to reach out to us and we can get you another copy. But briefly going over this, students are required to complete 4 credits of English, 3 credits of math, 3 credits of science, 4 credits of social studies. We have a computer proficiency and personal finance proficiency. Students need to complete 3 Phi Ed courses over the course of 3 years. We have a health course that's required, 1 credit of fine art or foreign language, and that can be met through band, choir, art, Spanish, or German, 2 occupations credits, and 4 elective credits. Students also need to make sure that they are passing the civics test and logging a minimum of 36 hours of youth service learning. Some odds and ends things and something that you might just want to have a discussion about or be aware of are 3 things on this page. So specifically early graduation. Students can meet their graduation requirements and decide to graduate early after first semester. Depending on specific graduation requirements, that means that students would need to probably double up on their English, their social studies, maybe personal finance or Phy-Ed or any other specific graduation requirements. Those would need to be done during their first semester. Students would then need to complete an application and be school board approved in order to graduate by the end of first semester. So know that that's an option, and make sure that you're touching base with your counselor on that, because we want to make sure that you have your graduation requirements done and that we're setting your first semester schedule up to meet those things. So again, if that's something that you and your student are interested in, please reach out to us. Keep in mind for scheduling for next year, seniors have the opportunity for second semester only to choose early release or late start. Again, that's for seniors only second semester, and they can only choose one or the other. It's a nice privilege to be able to either leave early or come in a little bit late. So great opportunity there, and that's something that students would just request on their course request for next year. And then also, again, another little friendly reminder to make sure that you have your youth service learning hours done. Those are due by April 15th of their senior year, and again, a minimum requirement of 36 hours to meet graduation requirements. Now, we've touched on this a couple times already in our presentation, but youth service learning hours, sometimes there's some questions about those specifically. Students need to make sure that they are benchmarking 9 hours each year in order to be eligible for Commons, to be eligible for school to career their senior year, to be eligible for youth apprenticeships. So just making sure that you're staying on track with that, that you're aware that that's a requirement to complete in order to be eligible for those things. And again, if students are benchmarking about 9 hours a year and getting those in on the website, then they'll be eligible for those other cool opportunities for their senior year. If there's any questions, anything that comes up and you're having issues, Tara Van Caster is the contact for our youth service learning hours. Another great opportunity for students to take advantage of their senior year would be a youth apprenticeship. And a youth apprenticeship is a pretty amazing program in the way that students can have release time from school to partner with a community business in order to get hands-on on-the-job training. Students can also receive a paycheck and high school credit in order to be a part of that program. So students need to be in good academic standing. They need to have service hours completed. There is an application process for that, but like I said, it's a pretty phenomenal program, and what a great way to get on the job hands-on training within a career field that you're interested in. If this is something that you and your student are interested in, please reach out to Dawn Grenzer through CESA 6, and her email address and phone number are on here. There is some work that you and your student would need to do ahead of time, and you would want to start planning that now in order to have everything set up and ready to go by the end of the school year. But please connect with Dawn Grenzer for anything youth apprenticeship related. If your student has a part-time job and they're interested in having release time from school for that, they can also take part in our School to Career program. Our School to Career program allows students to have up to 2 class periods a semester scheduled out of the building. They need to have their service hours completed, and they need to be able to log their hours and submit weekly reflections on their employability skills used that week. If you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to us about this specific program within our school. We have a great program that's available for students called the Start College Now program and the Early College Credit program. These are the same programs, it's just that Start College Now is through Fox Valley Tech and Early College Credit, or ECCP, is through the UW system. These programs are created for our students to be able to take college level classes through Fox Valley Tech or the UW system, and Hortonville will pay for books and tuition. Now, there is an application for this, and that upcoming deadline is March 1st. So I'd like for you to take note of that if that's something that you want your student to participate in. Again, March 1st is the deadline for students students to be able to participate in fall of next year. But this is a great way for students to kind of get a jump start on college classes. The way that they can take advantage of this is that they fill out the application and put classes on it that align with their academic and career goals, and classes that we don't offer here. We ask that they show an interest in that pathway already, and if they feel like they've topped out or they've exceeded the classes that we offer here, then this is a great program for them. Again, these college classes can transfer to other universities, even if they don't plan on going with an UW system or Fox Valley Tech, and they can use Transferology to see which classes transfer to which institutions. If your student is interested in this, or if you want more information from us, please check out the websites through Fox Valley Tech or the Early College Credit Program. Again, have your student come down and talk to us. We can meet in person and virtually to go over these, to give suggestions on classes, give recommendations on what might be a good fit. Something else to keep in mind with this as well is if your student is going to take these college classes, we do then adjust their high school schedule here to allow them release time. They need to be enrolled in a total of 3 credits per semester between the two programs, Hortonville High School or the Early College Credit and Start College Now programs, for a total of then 6 credits for the full year to be considered a full-time student. And we can work with them on determining which classes would be a good fit, which ones are credits that would transfer, and do that whole process with them. Just a friendly reminder that we do have statewide ACT testing coming up on Tuesday, March 9th. That is, again, a statewide ACT test date, and students will be taking the ACT within our building. Virtual and in-person students will be taking that in person. Information would have been sent home to families, letting them know about this test date, about the alternative schedule for that day, and again, asking that virtual students are coming in person for the test. I know it seems weird to have kids coming in and require that all juniors come in, but this is required by the state for students to complete. This is a test that students can send to their colleges that they're interested in attending after high school, and really important for all students to take, as it does reflect on our building in our district. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact our administrators. Specifically, Mr. Alan Becker is working very closely on ACT testing and what that looks like within our building on Tuesday, March 9th. If you're wondering what kind of last-minute ACT test prep resources we have available, I can tell you that our teachers are doing a lot of test prep within their classes and within their curriculum. But if you're looking for something more, something your student can do on their own outside of school, we do recommend ACT Academy. This is through the ACT website, and a reputable source. Students would just need to create a profile about themselves. And the neat thing about this is that students can go in, they can take some practice tests. It will help them pace as it puts a little timer up. It will also identify areas of weakness and help students work on building those areas of weakness in order to be prepped for the actual ACT when they take it with us. Now, as we already stated, March 9th is the test date that we will be offering the ACT for our current juniors. But if your student chooses to take the ACT again, let's say they took the March 9th and they decided their score wasn't where they wanted it to be, then they can choose to register and take the ACT again on their own. The future test dates for ACT for students to register for on their own are April 17th, June 12th, and July 17th. Please take note of the registration deadlines on these. And again, students would go to actstudent.org in order to register for these other ACT test dates after the March 9th date. If you're looking for additional resources for your child to be able to do some post-graduation planning, whether that's determining what specific college to go to or determining what specific pathway or career they might be interested in, we always recommend Zello. All of our HHS students have access to Zello through their graduation date, and their username is always capital letters HORT dash their student ID number, and their password is something that they would have created at their last login. If they don't remember their password, they can always reach out to their counselor and ask for it to be reset. That's something that we can just do a click of a button and then they can get access to it if they don't remember. But we highly recommend Zello. It's a great resource for kids to be able to log in and take some assessments, to do college research, to do their college applications, also to research specific careers and how those careers can relate to the high school classes that they should take in high school. The next couple slides are going to be some specific screenshots and information about Zello, and if you have more questions, please let us know. As I mentioned, there are several assessments that Zello offers for students to be able to determine what area they'd like to go in after they graduate. Those would be interest inventories and skills assessments. As students go in and take those interest inventories and skills assessments, it will show them what specific careers might be a good option for them based on how they answer those questions. Every student does have their own portfolio within Zello, and they can personalize that to fit their needs. It stores everything that they have completed within there, and when they take assessments, we'll keep that information in there. They can also log in and save possible careers. They can save scholarship information. They can put in their resume and cover letter. So great resource for students to be able to save their portfolio and resources needed within Zello. Students can also research specific career and college profiles. So if your student is interested in a specific college, they can log in. They can put the university that they're interested in, technical college, within the search bar at the top, and it will give them everything they need to know, such as GPA requirements to get into the school, ACT scores in order to get into the school, also what kind of majors, clubs, and activities are available within that school. Zello is also the place where students who are applying to colleges next year will then send us requests to send their transcript electronically to the colleges they are applying to. Students can track their college applications and make sure that they have submitted everything that they need to make those applications complete. They can upload due dates and deadlines for themselves, or the due dates and deadlines that colleges and universities are asking that they have everything submitted by. So a great place for kids to easily be able to track everything they need for college applications. Something to keep in mind for next year if your student is interested in attending four-year or technical colleges after they graduate is that we have so many scholarships available to kids, and a lot of them go unclaimed. So there's a lot of money out there for kids to have available to them to pay for books, tuition, and cost of living that isn't being taken advantage of. So we have a scholarship website on our counseling website that students can check out now. Most scholarships are really available for seniors, but students could check it out now, see a scholarship that might be applicable for them next year, and then see how they can really work this year to be a good applicant for that in the future. We have 3 places that kids can find scholarship information. Again, the Hortonville High School Counseling website has information on scholarships that we're made aware of. So the local scholarship and a lot of county or city specific scholarships are available in there. The other option would be that students are checking out other websites such as FastWeb, a website where students can create a profile about themselves and the website will find them scholarships. And the third place is going to be the college or institution that they plan on attending after high school will also offer them scholarships on their end. So again, the high school counseling website, outside websites such as FastWeb, or the college or institution they plan on attending will also offer them scholarships. Some odds and ends and things to keep in mind when planning ahead with your student, depending on the pathway they're interested in, would be that if your student's interested in joining the workforce or going into the apprenticeship program after they graduate from high school, they're certainly going to want to gain some sort of experience within the field to be a really good candidate for employment. So whether that's through youth apprenticeship or part-time employment with the company, that would certainly benefit them. Students would want to update their resume and cover letter and start creating that, which will also be an assignment in their English 11 class this semester. In addition to researching potential employers or companies within the area that they might be interested in working, whether that's staying within the Fox Valley and finding a company or researching companies outside of the Fox Valley, and then also setting up a job shadow. What better way to find out if they're interested in that job than to find out and observe somebody actually doing it? Now, I know that with COVID, things are certainly different with companies allowing people from the outside to come into their company, but they can also at least meet with that individual through Teams or through Zoom, FaceTime, anything to at least just sit down and have a conversation with them about how they can really be a great candidate for that position in the future. If your child is interested in joining the military, we do have military recruiters coming in during lunch period, so students can meet with them and have a conversation about if that would be a good fit for them and what they need for that. Students do need to get their medical records and get that to their military recruiter, and then also they should research potential careers within the military that would be a good fit for them. If you and your student are interested in meeting with a military recruiter and you'd like to set up a private meeting, just let us know and we can arrange that within our counseling office for you to have that space available. If your student's interested in going to college, either four-year or technical college after high school, some things that they should consider would be that they can take college classes, as we talked about, through early college credit or Start College Now. Again, that deadline's coming up on March 1st, and if they're interested in that, would want to talk to their counselor about specific classes or looking into that program specifically. As we already mentioned as well, there's a lot of scholarships available for seniors, so students would want to just check out what's available to them and how they can be a really good candidate for applying for those scholarships next year as a senior. It's really important then for students to know the admission requirements for colleges they're interested in applying to next year. What is the GPA, class rank, and ACT score that is required for those students to get in within a range of what the college would like to see. Also, colleges want to see that students are involved in clubs or activities. So are there any clubs or activities your student can get involved in? Just really knowing what they need to do to be a good candidate for being admitted into that college. And then also gaining information about housing, financial aid, classes, and what campus life is like for them once they're on campus. As we mentioned, we do have military recruiters from the Air Force, Army, National Guard, Marines, and the Navy coming in during lunch periods. If you'd like to contact one of these recruiters specifically, feel free to reach out to them on your own, or again, ask us to get you in contact with them and we can set up a time for you to meet. Some links that we think would be helpful for you and your child in future planning if they're interested in technical or four-year colleges would be the links listed here. Now within this specific presentation you won't be able to click on them because we're converting it to a viewable format for you, but if you go back to the high school counseling website and find the PowerPoint presentation, you would be able to click on these live links. But if your student's interested in the UW system for schools, UW Journey is a great website they can visit, but they can also download the app. That's a great resource because they can create a profile about themselves, about what intended major they have and what they want campus life to be like. For example, if they're interested in playing soccer and majoring in biology, it will then narrow down the schools within UW system that would have that for a great fit for them. It can then also tell them admission requirements and other things that they would need to know. If your student's interested in finding out what schools have specific majors, Major Mania is a great website for them to research. UW Help, again, is a good website for students, and that's also where they're going to be completing their UW applications next year. Preparing for college, as far as checking out ACT, SAT, college credits, and high schools, campus tours, great link there. And then if your student's interested, private colleges. We have a phenomenal private college system within Wisconsin as well, so researching those. And then again, we work closely with Fox Valley Tech for our students within the technical college system, but there are other schools throughout the state that they can also check out as well. So clicking on the link here for Wisconsin Technical College System and doing some research on that would benefit them as well. A little checklist that we have created here for current juniors would be helpful for you, and I know we talked about a lot of these things already, and again within this format we converted it so that you can see it on this screen, but we do have a paper copy that your student can either send a Canvas message to us and we can mail that to them if they're a virtual learner, or they can stop in the counseling office and get this if they would like a paper copy to actually physically be able to check these things off. But just some things to keep in mind and planning for the future. You know, we talked about looking at which high school classes they have, and if there's any college credits that are tied to them, if there's any other classes they should add that would be a really good fit for them for their schedule next year. Researching 2- and 4-year colleges, military and employment opportunities. We talked about job shadows and apprenticeships. Just having discussions with you as a parent about what their future plans are, what it looks like as far as financial needs for paying for college, for technical college, if they need to work before they can go to college, things like that. If they can get on any colleges and meet with any college representatives or military recruiters. That would certainly help them understand the military process as well as understanding the college admissions process. We talked to kids about taking the ACT, prepping for the ACT and resources for that. We talked about getting on campuses and visiting those, because what a better way to find out if you really like the campus and if you think you can live there than to get on and see the dorms that you might stay in yourself. We talked a little bit about joining school clubs or community clubs and activities just to build their resume and show that they're involved in things, giving back to the community and able to balance their time between school and other commitments. We talked about students are going to work on a resume or cover letter in English class second semester. We gave you information about Start College Now and the Early College Credit Program. We talked about Zello and how that can be a resource for you. Talking to teachers, their counselors, us, and coaches who they know best, and asking for letters of recommendation for the future so that those aren't backing up and we're hitting deadlines where we can't get those submitted on time. We talked a little bit about scholarship information, and also if your student is interested in being a college athlete, what that looks like for them. Some things they can be doing this summer, as we mentioned, researching admission requirements, looking at where is their college application actually going to be within UW system or Common App, checking out the dates that they want to make sure they're having applications submitted by, looking at application essays. We didn't talk about that one yet, but within English 11, students are going to be completing the either resume and cover letter or completing the application essay statement. Cool thing that we're going to be doing this year with application essays is that we're actually going to have some admission counselors from UW private college and technical college systems taking a look at those with our students and giving them feedback about what they want to see. So we're really excited about that partnership. Also, we're going to have representatives from local companies, their HR department, giving feedback to students on their resume and cover letter so that they can make sure that that is bright and shiny and sparkly before they send it off to HR departments when applying. And then last thing they can do for this summer would be to tour a college and making sure they're getting on a campus, as we already mentioned. Now, if you thought the junior year checklist was big, certainly take a look at the senior year checklist. Now, again, keeping in mind we do have this in paper copy and available to you if you'd like to have it on your own, but some things to highlight here as far as things students can do in the fall, spring, winter, and summer as far as moving ahead. Some of them are, again, the same things that we would ask for them to do as a junior, but just keeping on track of their application dates and deadlines, meeting with military recruiters if they want. If your student's going technical college or four-year college, making sure that they're completing the FAFSA on that October 1st of their senior year deadline. Applying for scholarships, registering for any AP tests that they might need to take. So you can certainly take a look at this and we can get you paper copy if you'd like, but just some things that do need to happen in order for students to wrap up their senior year. And I know, isn't it crazy that your kids that you just sent in the doors here a couple of years ago as freshmen, we're now talking about things that they need to be doing as seniors. So if we can help with this process and talk to you about some of these specific things, certainly let us know. Thank you all for listening to our presentation, and as we mentioned, feel free to reach out to us if you have any specific questions, any more resources that you would like, or you'd like to get us connected more closely with you and your student. You can certainly send us an email, you can give us a call, or have your student send us a Canvas message within Canvas. We'd love to be a support to you, we'd love to get more connected, and we appreciate again your time listening to this, and hopefully next year we can be back together in person meeting.